Hey, Golden State, I'd like to make a call. No, 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 no. I don't want him. I don't want him either. I don't want him either. You know who I want? I want the one and only from the East Coast to your home, the coach, Tim Roach. So, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are, wherever time it is for you right now, coaches all the way out there on the East Coast, the West Coast, whatever. One of those coasts, somewhere. Yeah. You guys know what to do. Go find us. Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X. I got a bunch of those. YouTube, which is hopefully where you're watching us. You guys check us out. Click subscribe. Join me for the live streams on each and every Raptors game that I'm not at. And thank you for joining and loving our fantastic guests, especially my man right there, the coach, Roach. How you doing today, my brother?
I'm pretty good. Just out on the West Coast, as you can see, to get the Golden Gate. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not out there. I'm in cold GTA.
Yeah, it's gonna be minus 30 tonight. Jeez.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah. Isn't she lovely?
Lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But you know what? All the way from the Golden Gate Bridge to our cold ass city, we're gonna cover the trade deadline, which is what's his name? Trayce Jackson, right? Davis, coming from Golden State Warriors to your Toronto Raptors, right? Young player. And before I get into my rant, Coach, I'm going to ask you first. How do you think that acquisition of him affects the Toronto Raptors?
Well, it doesn't make you worse. I'll just put it that way.
Okay.
You need another big. It's just, we're too small, quite frankly. With Pirtle out, you got one 7-footer on the team. Your next biggest guy is probably Scotty or Mamu.
Yep.
Scotty's been having to guard a lot of bigs on the other side, centers on the other side. I worry about him physically wearing down by doing that because he has a big responsibility on the offense too. And quite frankly, I don't want him guarding centers. I want him guarding big wings on the other team. I want him guarding the fours. I don't want him having to guard Jared Allen or Embiid, sometimes Darko. A couple of years ago, we put him out on Darius Garland, guarding POA defense. I don't want that from Scotty. I want him guarding the best player, best wing on the other team. And then he could be a roamer and a helper around the hoop and block shots. And let's be fair. I've said this for 2.5 months now. Scotty's playing the best basketball of his career. And he's been the defensive anchor. But you just can't always expect him to guard fives on the other end. For one, he's not that big to be doing that. And physically, you just kind of worry about him wearing down. It's the same thing with CMB too, who's playing very well, but he's only 6'6". Height matters in basketball. I take a look at some of those, the Milwaukee Bucks that won 4 or 5 years ago with Lopez and Giannis and Middleton and Drew Holiday and Portis. Like, they were huge, really tough to match up with. And a lot of teams now are going with shooting and size. The Raptors, we're having a good season so far, but we're last in 3-point percentage, and we're really small. It's amazing we have the record we do, quite honestly. So in some sense, I think we've overachieved, but I think as the season is now, you're basically in the last third of the season, and you have to bring somebody in who at least can be somewhat of a big body and be physical with some of the other bigs on the other team. I think that's important, and I think they did that.
You know what, Coach? I agree with you 100% on this one. I've been saying it for the last 3 months that the Raps need a big. They need a big. But the problem is, for the Raptors, when it comes to the big, is like you said, they're small, right?
Yep.
Scotty is one of the bigger players. Sandro's not going to play all 42 minutes, right? He's a big guy. And Yuck, let's face it, he might be made of glass right now, right? So he's not going to be there. But when he is there, he is effective. We can't take that away from him, right? CMB, like I've said on the streams before, if you guys are out there watching, like I've said, CMB is like it's like how I play. I'm 5'8", but I play the power forward. I have the mentality of a power forward, but the physicality and the size I do not. Right? So somebody like 6'4", 6'6", easily put the ball over, right? You know, CMB could do all that he can. And let's not take anything away from him, right? That kid's playing really good for the position
Yep.
that he's put in, right?
Yep.
And like you said just now, when you broke it down, so you and me, coach to coach, you got Scotty. You put Scotty at the center, but at the same time, Scotty's playing point, and Scotty's also the main guy, the focal point on the offense. Good thing for Brandon Ingram being there. That took a huge load off of Scotty. Take a load off Scotty, right? It took a load off of him, right? But you can't expect him to have his hands in every single pot, right? Every player has you, coach. You know this as a fellow coach. You got to have players playing specific positions, doing specific jobs in order to get the shit done, right? That's why I think Trayce, okay, yeah, he's a small guy to get to him, right? I did look him up because I had no idea who the hell he was before this.
I've watched him since college basketball.
Well, you
Like,
know, you're a college guy. You like that shit. Me, you know, I don't. I don't follow that shit. But that highlight, the main highlight that I saw was him jamming it on the alien. I thought that was pretty cool, right? I
yeah.
think that's something maybe the Raptors need down low, but I've been saying the Raptors need like another 7-footer down low, but the Raps did dip their toes in the water to get Trayce, right? The other thing too is, Coach, I don't know if you want to say anything about this. I don't even think you want to waste your breath, but the Raps did get rid of Abaji for Chris Paul, who is not even going to cross this border, right? He's not he's not going to step foot in Toronto. He's not going to wear a uniform. Nothing. You're not going to see no CP3s. Okay. Um. Any quick thoughts on that one?
No, not really. I did see Chris Paul when he was about 19 years old in the Tournament of the Americas. It was held in Halifax one year. He came
Your
representing the
hometown.
USA, home city, more or less.
Yeah.
But that was the first and only time I saw Chris Paul, and he was good then. Would have been like 2003, four, because I had a buddy of mine from home. He was 6'10", and he was playing on Team Canada at the time. He played at Central Michigan for a year, and he was on the national team. So I got to see like Chris Paul and Charlie Villanueva, who used to play for the Raptors. He was on the team.
No
I think.
eyebrows.
Yep, yeah. And I think Adam Morrison might have been on the team as well. So that was my only kind of, I had my Chris Paul moment to get to see him at the time. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. That to me, that's a fart in the wind. That trade for Chris
Pretty,
Paul.
pretty, pretty much. Yes. It was. It was.
It
This was
was.
cap flexibility. That's what happened. Abaji was making 6.5 million. Chris Paul was making like 3, I think,
Yeah.
and then they were able to do the trade, get under the tax because that's what Rogers wanted from Bobby to do. And I get it. That's fair. You don't want to be into the tax if you're not really competing for a title. I get that. So they did the deal. Chris Paul came in. You got under the tax, which allowed you to go get Trayce Jackson-Davis,
Yes.
who was the son of
Yeah.
Dale Davis, if you remember back in the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
That's where my mind is stuck. I'm old. I got dementia. Um, but the other thing I wanted to ask you too, Coach, it's okay. So the trade deadline has come and gone. There have been some major trades. I would like to know your reaction to certain trades. Let's go through them. The first one being uh, the Washington Rehabilitation Center, right?
I loved what they
Washington
done.
acquiring Anthony Davis, and
Yeah.
they still got Trae Young, both injured. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, For one, I love what they've done so far. Here's why. Washington has been tanking purposely for the last couple of years, along with Charlotte and Utah, who we might mention later. All these teams have been acquiring extra picks because of the tank. They just give away guys, yeah, we'll take a future first from you and stuff like that. So now they piled them all into their trades. I'll mention the Wizards. They gave up like 2 first round picks, a couple of expiring deals for Anthony Davis. I get it, he's hurt all the time. I get it, he's like 32, 33 years old. You're probably not going to see much of him, quite frankly. But if he is healthy next year to some degree, him and Alex Sarr inside Washington is going to be a problem because Trae Young is coming back next year. He's got something to prove. They didn't give up. They gave up 2 first round picks for Anthony Davis and Trae Young. Because Trae Young, they didn't give up any picks.
Yep.
That is a great haul if you're Washington when you have a bunch of young talent. Because they got Trey Johnson, who they drafted this year. He looks like he could be the second coming of Ray Allen. I think he's good.
Yeah,
they got Keyshawn George, Canadian kid.
Keyshawn, I love watching Keyshawn play.
He's good, and who's the I'm trying to think, and obviously Alex Sarr, who should have been the number 1 pick for Atlanta. You screwed up. You done goofed. You should have taken Sarr. But anyway, those 5. They got Koulibaly coming in. They have Bub Carrington. Yep. They have another pick coming this year too. Probably going to be a big one because they'll tell Anthony Davis, sit the rest of the year. You're not playing. We're tanking. They're going to pull what the Raptors did last year when they got Brandon Ingram. You're going to sit, we're going to tank. So Washington's going to come in with another top 10 pick or top 8 pick, and all those guys are coming in. They could be a problem if, it's a big if Anthony Davis is healthy.
That's the problem. The other thing, speaking of other major trades that happened, because we're going to go through this, you got shit to do. You know what I mean? Guys, Coach is spending his time with you, not just with me, with you. Okay? He should be spending his time elsewhere. I would advise him to do that. Okay? Coach, James Harden going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. What the fuck was that?
37 years old. He's my age. He's probably get a year and a half.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I got too many great.
It's all good. You know what? This is going to sound odd for me to say, but I don't mind the trade. Here's why.
Okay.
Garland is hurt all the time.
Yeah.
Harden, for what it's worth, can be a problem on offense for many teams. Like, I mean, he's streaky for one, but you put him with Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley? No? Cleveland, let's remember this is the Eastern Conference. This is like the West. Put Harden in the East with those guys. Is there a world that they could get to the Eastern Conference Finals and maybe the Finals? Yeah. There's a world that could happen, actually. Because I think Mobley and Allen really have to step up, obviously. But they got shooting. They got their star in Donovan Mitchell. Because this is Donovan Mitchell's team. So I hope Harden realizes it. If Harden's going to be
No, stop right there. You said Donovan Mitchell's team. Don't get fined by LeBron. Yeah. Okay? Just saying that, okay?
Okay?
Mike Tyson's son had to say that, and I'm surprised LeBron has like a punch in the face. But go on. Be careful.
Right. Well, this is Donovan Mitchell's team. Evan Mobley too. Oh. If Harden plays in that kind of secondary role, and he's just a below-average defender, that's going to be so helpful to Cleveland. Yeah. Cleveland could be a problem. I just think it is kind of strange they gave up on Garland the way that they did, but I think this is kind of we're trying to win now. That's it. This is a 1-2 year window max. We don't do it, and we don't do it.
Yeah, and then when Harden's gone after his contract is over, look how much money they got to spend.
They get some money.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right? There's other trades. I'm not going to ask you specifically, but I know you were thinking about the Triple J trade. I know that's not in your mind, bro.
I loved the trade for Utah when it happened. For Memphis, I get it because they now have 13 first round picks over the next 7 years.
Oh
They're
my
trying
goodness.
to do what the Thunder did. Yeah, the Memphis
Yeah.
is like two in this draft. They basically get like multiples in the next drafts for the next 7, 8 years.
I was just thinking about that when it comes to Oklahoma, how they pulled
Yeah.
it off.
So Triple J, and I like what Utah is doing
Ladies,
because man,
ladies and gentlemen, Jaren Jackson Jr. That's what
yes,
we're talking about.
that's what I
Not
should
Andre.
say. So I just call him Triple J for short.
Yeah.
So Utah, another team that's been tanking on purpose for
Yep.
multiple years. Danny Ainge loves first round picks,
Oh my goodness.
and
Yes.
he gave Memphis three first round picks, and I don't think any of them were Utah's. They were extras that were traded to them from like the Donovan Mitchell trade and the Gobert trade.
Yeah.
So they belong to like Cleveland and Minnesota,
Yep.
and they're going to be picks in the late 20s,
And
more or
Cleveland,
less.
Minnesota are going to be doing good at that point.
Exactly. And they gave up. So now Utah's front line or Utah's starting lineup come next season. Oh, probably this season actually. You're gonna have Keontae George, who I don't know if he's an all-star, but he should be. Ace Bailey, the
Oh
number
yeah.
5 or 6 pick in this draft, who I love. I think he's got tremendous upside.
He was
You got
roasting the
Mark.
Raptors the other night. But go on.
You got Markkinen, 7-1, averaging 27 a game. Now you got Triple J and Walker Kessler. That front line is 6'9", 7'1", and 7'1", and Ace Bailey is like 6'8.5" at
Yeah.
the two guard. And Keontae George is about 6'4". What Utah is doing is they're prioritizing size, shooting, and rim protection. I think that's like the holy trinity of what you would want in basketball: size, shooting, rim
Yeah.
protection. You get
Yeah.
you get that. So I'm looking forward to Utah next year to see how good they might be because they're good. Again, they might have another pick, top 10 pick coming to them. For Utah, it's all about next year.
Are there any other trades that you saw um that you think might be significant? I don't know if there's some journeymen like Schroeder, uh Coby White,
Yes, that
Mike
one.
Conley. I don't know. I don't who else are you looking at when you saw the names and you're like, what the fuck?
Well, Charlotte is like I don't know if I read they're 11-1 or 13-1 with the current starting lineup that they have because they're in the play-in right now.
I thought it was 13-1.
I think it might be 13-1, but Charlotte's healthy now.
Yeah.
LaMelo, Con Knipple is for real. That guy can
That
shoot.
kid could ball.
Yeah, Brandon Miller is healthy. The Diabate, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. He is just an athletic freak. He is unbelievable. Miles Bridges, I'm just talking the basketball sense. He's steady for what he does in
He's
terms of playing
consistent.
basketball. Yeah, he's consistent. He's good for like 18 and 7 a night.
Yeah.
And then now they just brought in Coby White, who's not even going to start, and who's probably just the second best player on the Bulls.
Yeah.
I mean, I love what Charlotte is doing. They're trying to compete now. They're going to get in the play-in tournament. If I am top 2 or 3 in the East, I don't want to be playing them. That's a lot of talent over there. Ball, Nipple, Miller.
Coach, balls and nipples.
I said,
Sorry, I gotta crack these jokes.
I know. But yes.
But yeah, what about like the other ones that we just mentioned? Like even Schroeder saying he's getting passed around like a slave or a prostitute. Like
No, I've never heard him. I didn't hear him say that. I
he
don't
said
know.
that he said it's like a slave thing because look how
Oh,
many teams he's been on. He said
right.
now his goal is basically to play on all 30 teams, be the only player.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, he's probably been on half of them at least.
Well, we know he played for the Raps,
Yeah.
right? At some point. But any other like any of the other smaller trades that stick out to you that can change? Like, okay, I'm gonna ask you this question. I know this is off script. Are there any other changes that you've seen in the Eastern Conference that can affect your Toronto Raptors from here on out to the end of the season?
Well, Boston acquired Vucevic. They needed a center. That was a big pickup for them.
Huge.
Huge pickup. Yep. So we have problems with Boston.
Yep.
Mainly, it's their size with Kata inside, and now Vucevic, and of course Jalen Brown and Peyton Pritchard are they just destroy us. The Ra-
Caitlin Clark, as Reggie Miller said?
oh. So Boston's a problem. Cleveland, you can make an argument that maybe Cleveland got better because Harden's healthy, Garland's not. Detroit, I know they traded Ivy, but they did pick up Herder. He just gives them more shooting.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you can make an argument either way, but Detroit, regardless, is number one. Orlando, once they get more healthy, they could be a problem. Paul George is over 25 games, but still, Philly is Philly at the end of the day. The Raptors are like 1-11 against teams that are better than them.
Yep.
That's a problem. You can't punch up to that next level if you're 1-11. Sorry, you're in that.
Boston, they're 0-3 against New York, and they have no wins against Detroit.
Yeah, well, they haven't played Detroit yet, but yeah, they've lost to Philly once or twice. I think they've lost to Orlando. They beat Orlando one time, maybe,
Yeah.
but they've lost to them. So for the Raptors, they're in this spot where I can't put them in the class of Detroit right now, or the Knicks or Boston.
Yeah.
They have their own tier. The Raptors are in the next one, that 4-7 range. You can't punch up if you're 1-11. I'm sorry, you're somewhere in the middle. Now, when Pirtle comes back, which he should be back actually before the All-Star break, they think he's either going to play Sunday or he's going to play next Wednesday against
Maybe
Detroit.
Super Bowl Sunday against the Pacers.
It's possible. I can see him playing Wednesday. I would rest him until then. Give him that game before the All-Star break, and then he gets another week off. I would probably do that. So down the stretch, this is going to be key for them because you're going to need the bodies because of the physicality that's going to pick up. Once you play that last third of the year, teams are gearing up for playoff basketball. Many of the Raptors' losses lately have been due to a lack of physicality, the physical aspect, also the mental aspect as well.
The fourth quarter meltdowns.
Yeah, some of that is mental. When you're turning the ball over for no reason, that's not a physical thing. That's a mental thing.
Yeah,
so
join me on the live streams. I'm yelling, "Why the hell did you make that pass? Hold the ball. Just hold the ball."
Exactly. Yeah.
Make the easy pass. Get it inside. Get the easy quick two. Boom. You're good. You're still on track. You don't have to do all this the stymie showmanship bullshit, right? Leave that shit to us here on the internet, okay? You guys don't have to do that, okay? You know what I mean? It's like when I'm seeing it while I'm watching it in real time, right? I'm getting confused. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you make that decision? Why would you shoot that open three? Stop taking those threes. Get inside. Go in there. Get the bucket. Try to draw a foul. Something like that, just to keep the pace going. Coach, you know this, and I know you've done this too. When you're sitting there on the bench with the clipboard and you got your pen out and you're clicking off whoever scores for your team, sometimes you're like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? You know when you got to click off the hit or the miss, right? You know what I'm talking about. And it's just like, it's like, why? No, call the play. But, Coach, I know you don't have much time left, right? It's been a fun conversation. Anything else you would like to say about the trade deadline or anything else you want to say? You can even talk about food. I don't give a shit. Talk about the weather. I don't give a shit. Whatever it is, man, the floor is yours. Go for it.
I don't think I have anything else at this time. Curious to see what this team looks like come Sunday moving forward with once we have Trayce Jackson-Davis. If he plays, because Darko never played Mo Bamba, so it's hard to say if they'll play this guy. I hope they do, just from a physicality standpoint, because we are limited with bigs, and we can't afford to have any of them injured. So why not spread the minutes around just a little bit with these guys? Obviously, don't want to interrupt CMB's development, as everyone loves to say. And Scotty's good to be playing a bunch. Mamu's good to be playing a bunch. Give this kid maybe a chance. And when Pirtle comes back, you kind of work him in. I don't play him a ton of minutes. You need Pirtle for the stretch run.
Yep. So, before we get out of here, I have one last question. Sorry, I'm going off script here. Give me a grade on the Raptors at the trade deadline. A to F.
I'm gonna say C minus.
I'm gonna say a D.
They did get they did get under the tax, and they did somewhat address the need by picking up a big. So I'll say C minus. Not it wasn't the trade deadline. Like I wanted them to do more, get more shooting, but they did at least something. So
All right, Coach. Well, all I'm gonna say is, I think uh, Bobby Webster just had to kind of hold the fort, drop some money.
yeah, he didn't give up a first round pick. So that's why I also give him a C minus. Don't give up a
He gave
first round pick.
the Lakers pick.
That's a second round. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Be pick 53, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did give that, but I did think he kind of kept it just intact because, and this is one thing I could take the positive out of this, out of the performance from the trade deadline, is like I've been telling a fair weather Raptors fans, watch these kids play. Look at the presence the Raptors have. They have two players in the G League Allstar game. They have two players in Elijah Martin and CMB in the Rising Stars Challenge, right? They have Scottie Barnes as an all-star on the reserves. They have Darko coaching Team World. So there is potential, same way they did it just before 2019, right? When the Raptors had all that. So hold on, steadfast, right? Keep the ship going the way it's going, right? So I can't fault Bobby Webster for that. Like, come on. A lot of people out there, why the fuck didn't you get LeBron, AD, and Sabonis, right? Like, the people are gonna say shit like that. They're gonna say some dumb shit. But no, this is the path that the Raptors are going on, all the way from 905 to the bench, to the coaching, to the starter, right? Coach, can I sign us out?
Sounds good.
All right. So on behalf of myself, you guys out there, the To The Point family that join us here, right? And my man Arturus, shout out to Skip, and our man, all the way from the East Coast to your home, the one and only Coach Roach. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and peace.